All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Eric Jr. podcast. On opening day of baseball season, I am joined here by the Creamster and Jacob Klein. Guys, this week is coming at us fast. It's going to be sports, 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 too many sports.
After 4 months of waiting and if they're going to come back and what are we going to do, it hasn't hit me yet that we're about to just be flooded with sports content and the takes and the discourse. I can't wait to dive all into it.
Yeah, it is. We have made it, at least on the surface level, through the storm, fellas. We've made it through the Last Dance experience. Everyone watching, we've made it through the real dog days, it seems like. Sports.
You guys remember Tiger King?
I try not to. Yeah, but sports are upon us, fellas, and there are a lot of bite-sized sports stories I'd like to sink our teeth into tonight. Where do we even begin?
So, when we were compiling our list of stuff we wanted to talk about, we noticed it was just kind of there was no dominating story that we had to dive into first, and we just had a ton of little things we wanted to touch on. So we're just going to try, and I know this is tough for some long-winded fellows like ourselves, that we're going to try and just do kind of a rapid-fire PTI style, 5 minutes, hit it, and then, keep moving on with the topics. There's too much stuff on the horizon, but for right now, there's a ton of just little things we wanted to talk about. So we established today in the group chat this morning, posed by one Jacob Klein, officially we're all in on the Sixers. We're all in financially on the path to a $2,700 payout. We're officially gambling. Jacob Klein, you prompted this clearly reckless endeavor, but we're in on that $2,700.
Yep, it was past midnight, and instead of sleeping, I was there scrolling on my phone, as all of us, unfortunately, most of us do, and I stumbled across a screenshot of something I saw on the Sixers Reddit account of a man who placed a $100 bet with 27-1 payout, and I figured, you know what? If there are three gentlemen who could split this equally and who deserve a 27-1 payout for their time and their investment in the Philadelphia 76ers organization, then it is the EJP. And I'll just say, fellas, I'm feeling pretty confident. They had other options, for finals matchups, and I don't want any part of that. I just want the glory. I want the asterisk. I want it all.
Agreed. As someone who does not, make my way into the gambling sphere too often, this is something it feels right. And as the kind of last couple weeks have come together and the Sixers stories have flowed over us, it's hard not to be all in on the Sixers again. And
oh my God.
Sorry.
Hello?
Yeah.
Jamie?
Oh my God, we're 30 minutes. Oh my God. What is wrong with you, dude? Babe, you said you were money. You said you were money. After 9 cutouts, you said you were money for 3.5 minutes.
So I would like to point out that wasn't a technical malfunction. I just accidentally pulled my microphone out.
That was a physical malfunction. That
was physical malfunction was the thing. Is the thing.
I thought it was me.
I'm torn. Do we just power through? Because I'm still live, baby. Do we power through this or do we stop here? That's the real question.
It's your call.
We're in it. We're in it to win it, fellas.
Ah, my God, Creed. This is a real behind the scenes. This is how the sausage is made, people. It's just
I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed, and I am sorry to the good viewers, the listeners of the EJP. I apologize for disrupting the show. with my clumsiness.
Oh my god. The reason I'm dying is just Jake and I sat in a lobby for 25 minutes while listening to a one creamster who would connect to the call, couldn't hear us, but we could hear him just going, "Damn it, what is this thing? I don't know what's going on here." And he's just talking to himself. We just listened to him grumbling to himself for 25 minutes.
I did not know you guys could hear me.
And 30 seconds before the call starts for this pod, I say, "Are you good to go? Do you have it squared away?" And this dude bungles it in 3 minutes. All right. I don't even know where to start. So we had this plan of running down stuff, and we wanted to start with Ben Simmons because he kind of leads into a bunch of different topics. Creamster, I'll let you take it away. Ben Simmons, three-point shooting. I'm not interested in the topic. You are. Get it going.
Yeah. You have to be interested in the topic, right? It's Ben Simmons and his three-pointers. What more could you ask for? Oh my God, how many iterations of this conversation have we had on this podcast alone? And finally, maybe he's going to shoot threes. He's been doing it in practice a lot. We've seen his jumper in videos. It's looked pretty good. Brett Brown says that's the most he's ever shot the three in practice. He's shooting it in live scrimmages. I, for one, am expecting multiple three-point attempts when the Sixers kick off their scrimmages on Friday. I don't know about you guys. I'm expecting multiple attempts.
All right. I got to be honest. I have also been drinking the Kool-Aid and watching the Ben Simmons shooting videos. And I just feel like this culmination of all this craziness happening. Why the fuck not? Why the fuck wouldn't Ben Simmons come out chucking 2 threes a game without even sweating it? I mean, shit's so crazy. He's like, will people even notice? I mean, obviously we will, but I am all in. There's got to be some type of bet out there about his over-under for threes. I'm taking the over. This is why I don't gamble on sports, because I'm an emotional person. But Ben Simmons shooting threes, it's happening game 1. It's happening like 2 minutes into the game. He's just firing right off the bat.
So, did either of you watch? We'll get to Matisse later, but did either of you watch the YouTube content put out by Ben Simmons this week, or maybe it was last week, but recently?
Was it just his like hype video of where? Because I saw Ben Simmons' hype video. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about.
It was called like the re-up. It was like 6 minutes long, like a mini doc kind of thing of him training after.
What was he?
After everything kind of got shut down, it's him. He's kind of meeting up with his strength and conditioning coach and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And right at the end of the video, he's like in this gym with other like NBA guys and just other like normal people too, but they're like practicing. And at the end of the video, the one guy's like, Ben's like standing next to him on the sideline. The guy's like, man, you just got to get that shot going. And Ben like turns to him and just says like Orlando, and then like runs onto the court or something. That was like in the last like 20 seconds of the video.
Yeah. And that's what gets people excited, man.
Orlando, baby. One word.
That maybe, just maybe, this was the break away from everything that he needed to get into the right mindset to shoot threes. Because I think that a lot of his issue was that he couldn't get into the mindset of like, I just need to go out there and let it fly. I feel like at this point he's at a place where he's comfortable with his shot, that he feels like it's going to go in. He was not at that place before. That's why he didn't take it. But I don't know, man. Something about these videos, man. Just his energy feels different, and in some ways, the energy of the team feels different. Certainly from the low points of the season. So it feels new. It feels fresh. I feel really excited, and I think it's going to happen.
It was almost like let me use an example. My brother like would never smile for family photos. Like if we had like our Christmas card photo, he would like either do a stupid face or like a straight face. And the more my mom asked him to smile, it was like it became an adamant like, no, because you're asking me so much, I'm intentionally not doing it. It was almost like that. Like he didn't want to look uncool, and because it became such a big deal, it was like I'm digging in even more, and I'm just gonna not do it because all these people are gonna explode if I do. So, and that happened when he actually hit it. Like especially the China game again, the game against
China,
like the CBA team, he was like, getting mobbed by people on the court and stuff. And I wouldn't really want that to happen to me either. Like if I just try, and I'm trying to just make this a normal thing, but
trying to do something new that you're feeling, not super confident with. You don't want people to make a big deal out of it. Totally get it. Yeah.
So we're moving on. We're staying quick with the paces here.
No, Jake, what did you're expecting multiple threes, Jake?
Honestly, like just quick thoughts. It looked a little bit more fluid than I guess what we had seen before. And like having like Brett Brown explicitly state that like Shake is going to do traditional point guardy things and just like the mindset of the team as a whole. I think you're going to let him, like he's going to let it fly, I think right off the bat. And I think the difference this time will be even if he's missing, he'll still take the 1 to 2, ideally in the corner. Because he'll be in different positions, like he'll be in different positions on the court to maybe not get in his head so much about taking the shot, and it's just in the flow and in the rhythm of the offense with the spacing. So I'm definitely more optimistic than I should be. You just get the feeling that this is a little bit different. You just get the feeling that him posting these videos and the chatter and the setting and what they need from him, with the parts that they have to make work. I'm just hoping that it all comes together.
Mm-hmm.
So, the next topic surrounding Ben Simmons I wanted to think about is related to the NBA announcing the awards will be determined by the previous set of games and nothing to do with the playoffs or the 8-game schedule prior to that. So, man, they are squarely in the position to have Ben Simmons. If you take away the rest of it, like when he got hurt and had the back injury, I thought that kind of wrote off his Defensive Player of the Year odds. With them only counting the sample size they already have, I mean, he only missed in reality a few games at the end of the year. There's, I think, an underwhelming amount of people kind of calling for him as Defensive Player of the Year. I think he has a pretty respectable resume this season. I can't imagine why he's not more in the conversation for that.
I think I agree with you to an extent. He missed about 11 games, I believe, which isn't, wouldn't disqualify anybody in a regular season from awards like this. I think part of the reason is the team isn't very good. The team's record is not very good.
That old pesky record.
Yeah. But you're absolutely, in terms of like most valuable defenders, it's tough to create a short list that does not include Ben Simmons. He has been a different animal on defense this year. I totally agree that he should be. Yeah, exactly. Leads the league in steals and like can guard all 5 positions and does guard all 5 positions, which is, it's easy. It's one thing to say he can, but this is a guy who actually every game is on the opposing team's best player, kind of regardless of position. With the exception of center, he's guarding every team's best player. He's doing it every night, and he's been, at such a high level the entire year. His consistency is off the charts compared to where he usually was. So I totally get the argument. I think if the team's record was better, like I said, more people would agree with us. Jake, what are your feelings on it?
Yeah, that's a great point, Kareem. Like there needs to be some advanced statistic about like just like going up against the other team's best player.
Right.
We still look at all these things that Ben Simmons can improve upon, and yet that happens. We don't even think twice about that factor in the game. It'd be really cool to see how they could quantify that and kind of project and show you how much impact that has. What I'll say is I think kind of the fix is in for like a LeBron being the MVP. That means kind of by default, I think like a Giannis would get Defensive Player of the Year. Ray, I agree with you.
You got to give him something, yeah.
Right. I agree that, like, not a lot of people, like, I've seen nothing about this, and yet I think it's a consensus around the league. Like, his defense took a huge step up, and to close, I would say that will result in him getting a first-team all-defensive nod, and that will recognize that without the Defensive Player of the Year. But I agree, the chatter and just a general discussion about his impact on that side of the floor, and that being the total, award recognition for that, definitely has been not really on anybody's radar. I don't think it's not been on any national radar. I know there's so much going on, but I haven't seen that anywhere. So very good points by both of you.
So that leads into our quick topics. I mean, just who we are expecting to win the NBA awards, given the sample size is now set. Jake, you seem to think LeBron is a shoo-in for the MVP, and I honestly think he has a pretty solid case over Giannis, but it's 1A and 1B, I guess.
Yeah, splitting hairs to a degree. Giannis has just had such a statistical monster year, and then the Bucks, they kind of faltered down the stretch a little bit. I think they lost 4 games in March leading into the lockdown, but they were on pace for such a crazy season. They were chasing 70 wins. I feel the need to give it to him after what that team has been doing. But yeah, I mean it's splitting hairs, like I said.
My picks probably be LeBron, MVP, Giannis, Defensive Player of the Year. Most improved player, I think, is a very interesting category. I'm going to go with Bam Adebayo.
Yeah.
Seemed to have a really good year. And then for six man, I would probably say, this is always a tough category because what matters more, the player's impact or the team's standing, Mm-hmm. So is he getting statistics on a bad team? I'd go with, I think it's a pretty popular pick. I think Montrezl Harrell, who for the Clippers, Lou Williams is always a perennial contender for this award, but Montrezl Harrell seems to provide such an energy level where if you have that star power, sometimes getting riled up every night, getting that energy high for every game, it's hard to channel, at least not till the end of games, and maybe you're behind in those. But Montrez really seems to have given them a boost all year, and they've got such this top-tier talent that having a guy with a motor like that to just make sure that everybody's buying in every night, everybody's hitting the deck. I think there's value in that, and it happens to be one of the best teams in the league, so I'd maybe be interested to hear if you guys have another player where the team is not so good, but you would argue that the player deserves it for X, Y, or Z.
I honestly agree with you on most of the picks. I'd be fine with all those. I would go, the only difference I had from you, I guess I would say, is Brandon Ingram for most improved over Adebayo. I think he did the thing that's tough to do in terms of he had the 10-point jump in points, but he stayed efficient. His shooting percentages, it's not simply this dude's just getting a monster amount of shots now, and he's shooting 40% from the field, but he's getting 25 a game. He's shooting very solid from the field. He's shooting 46% from the field, 38 from 3, 85 from the free throw line, and he's averaging 24 and 6. He had a monster jump.
Pretty good resume.
So. What's up?
Yeah, that's a good answer, and yeah, a lot of production there.
So I would probably only change that would probably be the only thing I would change. Go with Brandon Ingram there, but
yeah, I mean, most improved player is a monster category this year. There are a ton of options. Brandon Ingram. You could also throw out my guy Pascal Siakam. Had a 8-point jump this year. Really took the mantle of best player on that Raptors team that is still super competitive. Going to be a really tough out in the playoffs. You could also, throw in a guy we hate him, Jason Tatum. It is certainly a stack more so than other years. But I cape for my guy Pascal. That's my prerogative. But you could go, and I don't really have a 6-man of the year take. I would just give it to Lou Williams again. Any other coach of the year takes? Presumably not Brett Brown, unfortunately.
Not Nick Nurse, not Brett Brown.
Not Nick Nurse.
I think it is Nick Nurse. Moving on.
I think it's got to be Nick Nurse.
Anybody
It could
but
be
Nick Nurse.
Spo.
Okay, we're moving on. We're just keeping it quick, boys.
Oh, wow.
This is the theme.
Yeah, this is
Just
we're
zap
at a
us. Zap us when
breakneck
we go
pace.
over.
Yeah, I'm zapping it. Things we're looking forward to in the Sixers scrimmages in terms of observations or analyzing. Who wants to go
You
first?
want to go first? Yeah, why don't you go first, Ray?
I put down the guard rotations.
Mm.
We didn't discuss who had what, so I could be stealing somebody's. But the rotations of Burks, Milton, Richardson.
Yeah.
How are we going to see who's kind of the first guard off the bench if Ben really is playing the four?
Yeah.
Does that elevate somebody to get more playing time? Like, is Howell Neto now like part of the rotation because they're playing pure point guards or something? Like, that's kind of an interesting dynamic, I guess, coming into the scrimmages.
Jake?
Yeah, gotta build off that. It's all about the guards. I'm looking at Shake Milton, and I'm looking at who can be a backup initiator. I think Neto has a real chance. I think these 8 games, you'll see, Burks and Neto probably get a little bit of run. And I'm just interested to see how the back end of the rotation, who kind of steps up. Does Furkan really struggle? And I'm having doubts about him in the playoff rotation. Does Horford look great in the second unit? Does Josh Richardson maybe need to be removed from the starting lineup to be that backup initiator, to make the parts of the team work in different sets? I mean, it's just going to be so fluid, and there's so little time, there's so little tape to look at to make the decisions for the playoffs. But the attention's got to be focused on the guard play. It's got to be, is Shake Milton going to be able to do this even, 50% of what we thought he could? And do we have a backup initiator that can remain on the court and do things for us that we need to, so Ben Simmons doesn't play 41 minutes a game?
Yeah. No, it's a good point. And definitely the rotation in general is going to be something Sixers fans are going to pay a ton of attention to. I've speculated that I think Brett Brown will go with a pretty deep bench for the rest of the kind of regular season. He'll play like 10 guys just to let them battle it out. And you look to see whoever really, starts hot is going to be able to lock down those final spots in the rotation. But the big thing, I think it's the biggest thing, and we've talked about it here all the time. Embiid's conditioning, like, is he really like in the best shape of his life? If you believe the puff pieces, like, I want to know how fluid he looks, how quickly he's able to get up and down, how motivated is he to get to his spots. That's the stuff. That's the biggest thing, because the last 2 playoffs he hasn't been at 100%, and it's really limited our team. And if he can get off to a good start, if he can stay healthy and stay, at peak physical condition throughout the playoffs, it brings us to a completely another level where we're not just scraping by. We're a team that needs to be considered,
Yeah, and one other quick last thing I'll say, it's just going to be, we have an 8-game sample size, but these end-of-game lineups I think will be so interesting. I'm really hoping that at least 4 to 6 of the games are really competitive, so we can see if there are being positions swapped out based off situational
different
lineups
options,
and matchups. I'd be really interested, and I'm hopeful that we're going to get some close games and get some good, tape on end-of-game situations and maybe who fits and if Shake's not right for that role versus, someone else. So that'll be really interesting. And last thing, do you have any breakout candidates as we close this out? Any guys that you think will make an impact for this team that we weren't expecting?
I mean, I think the impact players are the top 6, and you just gotta hope the rest of the guys can fill in the cracks of that. I think Shake Milton and Al Horford are obviously the 2 that you need. You really need to improve their play or continue their improved play in Shake's case to make you feel good about this team. Ray, do you got anything else?
Taking us into our next segment, I picked my breakout player as Matisse Thybulle.
Oh.
And it's because I love his content.
All about the content, baby.
All about the content. I will say this. I've been devouring the 4th episode of the Matisse Bol Bubble vlog.
Mm.
Was not even up for an hour, and I was setting that thing up, getting it loaded up. This vlog is excellent, man. He's doing a great job.
It's really good. Yeah.
It's utterly fascinating seeing the
Right.
little things that they've thought of. Like he's talking about, he's like, Jake, I know you haven't seen it, so like he's talking about, like, yes, they also have to do the tests, but like they also have an app on their phones where they have to do like an oxygen saturation, like the little clip that you put on the tip of your finger. They have to like import that, and they have to take their own temperature every single day and put that into the app. And like the scanner watches that they have won't let you into practice unless you've imported like the info onto the app before you've like tried to enter the building. Like your scanner like will detect that you haven't done it yet. Like I'm just like fascinated at all the things that they've thought of for this. It's really incredible. And also it's showing clear dynamics of like who his boys are on the team. Like,
Yeah.
which is, it's pretty funny because Matisse is like, he's, 22 or whatever, but he clearly has like an old guy personality because his main friends are Tobias Harris and Kyle O'Quinn, who are like two of the most veteran guys. Like obviously Horford is like the old man, but like those guys are like 10 years older than him, and or obviously not Tobias, but like Kyle O'Quinn,
vets.
yeah, they're definitely like an older mindset kind of too, and those three seem to be like inseparable in the vlog. I've just been eating it up, man.
Yeah, and, like NBA player dynamics and like team dynamics is already super interesting. To us NBA fans, we crave that content already, and then but also add in the fact of this crazy experiment that the NBA is running, kind of on the fly, and the things that they're doing to keep these guys safe, and then also like entertained, letting them go out for fishing trips and go golfing and trying to keep that circus of an NBA bubble like closed is really fascinating. And Matisse has done a really good job of kind of showing the team camaraderie, the energy around the team, which feels different than the regular season. It feels really positive. Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid specifically, it feels important that they want this. I can feel their attitudes, and as like a fan, that's all you want. You want them to care, and it seems like they all do. But then also you see the interesting sides because it's not all basketball. You see him talking to Tobias Harris about the social justice issues, about their kind of plan to represent these issues as a team, as a unit. I think it's all really fascinating, and I give him all the credit in the world because he's done a great job with this stuff.
Yeah, the two big stars haven't been featured a ton. Embiid a little bit more than Simmons. We haven't seen a ton of Simmons.
Right.
Embiid got a little more. He like showed interest in being on it in like the 4th episode. So I feel like he might be making more and more appearances as he wants to get that notoriety. Jake,
After
any thoughts?
like
Are you
labeled,
gonna watch this?
I was gonna say after it's labeled like not weird and like cool and accepted, then MB will be like, all right, like I'll make an appearance. But like he had to make sure it wasn't like, Thibault's kind of nerdy. He can't be. His reputation's pretty cool. Embiid's cool guy. He can't just be jeopardizing that for the rookie.
Is Embiid a cool guy? I feel like he's a goofy guy.
He's goofy, but he's also cool, man. If you're that good,
Ray, what's your ruling on this?
If you're a top 12 player, you're inherently cool. That's my argument.
It's not a bad argument.
All right.
Wow.
Moving on. Next topic.
Wow.
This
Active protest here.
I'm doing what I said I would do. I'm keeping.
Yeah, you're just doing your job. You're just doing your job, Tony Reali.
I'm just doing my job. On to a guy who doesn't look cool doing anything, but he had a eye-popping stat line in his first NBA action.
Oh,
Bol
wow.
Bol, man. That guy went off in the weird Nuggets game last
Yeah, where they
night. I can't
started a
say,
bunch of eggs, yeah.
yeah, I can't say I watched it. I watched the highlights. I watched Bol Bol like do his thing. Um, the I think it was like 16 and 10 with 6 blocks or something. He was obviously like a top 5 recruit in high school. Then he had the stress fracture in his foot, and then he dropped for what was quote like personality issues and like work ethic concerns and stuff like
Mm.
that. People kind of pegged him as a lazy individual or like entitled. He was on full display in terms of why he was a top 10 talent coming into last season.
Mm. Yeah, he obviously a monster talent. He's always been a guy that stuff is the stat sheet from high school to the limited action he had at Oregon. Um, the fact that he fell all the way to the Nuggets, I was concerned about the medical implications. Obviously, the personality thing played a part in that, but it's really good to see that kind of talent on display. He clearly if he can stay healthy and if he can put it together, I mean that's a legitimate player. And you got to wonder how he slipped all the way to I think 50, the 50th pick in that draft, as coming in like you said, a top 10 talent. He's really fun to watch. He's really balanced. He's a playmaker. He makes plays on both ends of the court. I don't know why, it seems like a no-brainer to take a chance on a guy like that.
Jacob, any thoughts? I know you don't really care about Bol Bol, but
I have 0 takes, 0 content. I would like to zap on to the next topic, if that's all right. I want to zap it out. I want to zap
Only
in and out.
Ray can zap. You don't get to zap.
Is that in the
Only
bylaws?
Cream gets to disconnect from the Connection Bid podcast. Okay. All right. The next topic. This is what's hilarious to me, and this is literally I just wanted to get this joke off. So the Redskins. Oh, so I apologize for even saying that. The Washington football team has started referring to themselves.
I don't think there's. Yeah.
Yeah, the Washington football team has started referring to themselves as the Washington football team, which is hilarious to me because that's what 70% of people were calling them anyways, because it became both a bit / a thing to just
A
stop
protest,
calling them
kind
by
of.
their actual name, and it's been like that for 3 years. That's what
Right.
we've been calling them on this podcast anyways.
Right. The fact that they're taking that step is pretty funny, and I think you made the point in our group chat, Ray, that they've got to be just in a legal battle, right? They got to have a name, but they don't have all the rights to it, and they're just trying to get all their ducks in a row before they can announce it. Because if you're taking this long to just pick a name, just pick a name, man. Professional sports teams' names are inherently kind of dumb. You don't have to put this much stock into them.
You kind of do. I disagree with that part of it. You don't just pick a name. Man, you got to read. You have to look at this at the scope of how much stuff you have to rebrand. It's not just.
No, I understand.
It's not just the nickname. It's your stadium, your uniforms, your staff, your personnel, your online marketing, your corporate sponsorships. I live 10 minutes away from DC. I'm at the Safeway or whatever, grocery store. They have out front a huge sign that says the official grocer of the Washington Redskins. That kind of stuff. You don't want a dumb name. You don't want a regrettable name and have to associate it with all these businesses and everything. I get taking your time, but my thinking is there's no way they do this half measure if they don't think it's going to be a little while before they can actually pin down the name legally.
No, that's what I'm thinking. I think that's why I'm surprised that they haven't been able to just land on a name. I feel just brainstorming a little bit, you could come up with a couple of different answers. I know you suggested the Sentinels to us earlier from that Keanu Reeves movie.
That movie that dads like. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie that's Dad's like the anti-union movie. But yeah, I feel like they should have been able to get a name. Jake, do you have anything on this? Went to him too quick.
Jake
Sorry.
liked the rhinoceros.
I did.
That was his.
I did provide some. I provided some recommendations that were shot down, so I don't want to feel comfortable throwing my hat back into this ring. I don't want to get hurt again.
Yeah,
so
it was shocking that like East African animals were not common name choices for the Washington D.C. football team.
In my opinion, you either go one or two ends of the spectrum. You go historically significant and cool and maybe some local history, or you go totally absurd and crazy and unexpected. There's no middle ground. There's no in between. You got to go one way or the other, and I'm sure the Washington football team will find a way to screw that up.
All right.
I mean,
I know they are like, I am like I said, I'm living in the area, and I kind of like am witnessing the local history, I guess, where it's like this has to be the lowest point this franchise has ever been at, and I've only been here like for a short time, but the sports radio is just so defeated here. Like
oh my God,
everybody, like all the radio hosts, and not defeated as in like they're mailing it in and they're like putting on bad shows, but like in Philadelphia, there's still like a ton of like animosity towards like the on-field product and stuff like that.
Yeah, if it's negative, yeah, there's a lot of negative feelings toward the sports teams.
Yeah, here it's more apathy. It's just like, dear God, like this is just torturous at this point. It's really an amazing thing to watch from a close proximity. So a team that didn't screw it up was a team that didn't even exist yesterday, boys. The Seattle Krakens, man. Killer name.
Love it.
So many options. So many cool logo ideas are possible.
Yeah.
Like, that is immediately like a top 10 sports team name right off bat, and they haven't played a minute of hockey.
That's high praise.
This is what we call in the business a 10 out of 10. I mean, everything, the way it can be chanted, the actual thing itself, the affiliation. I mean, just you knocked it out of the park. Fucking badass. You can do cool artistic stuff. I mean, just a real night, 100%. You know, it just feels good to see something in its most perfect, purest form. And Kraken, man, that's badass.
I love it. You're absolutely right, Jake. Like they hit all the points. Like intimidating, cool name. Like obviously the art style is going to be pretty cool. And then, you know, I feel like Seattle's had a pretty decent history of names. Obviously, Supersonics is a fan favorite for NBA heads. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited about Seattle getting a hockey team. They're, you know, historically a really, really passionate fan base, and they should have all the sports they can get because I think they really enhance the product for sure. I'm excited about that. Seattle Kraken coming in 2021, I believe.
Are they, so Kareem, do you have any knowledge as our resident hockey expert on, are they doing like a supplemental draft?
They will.
Go ahead.
They will do a expansion draft, so they'll pick a player from each of the teams. Some players will be able to be reserved by said teams. I don't know the number yet. Usually it's like 9 forwards, 4 defensemen, and a goalie or something like that. That's usually about what it would be. And then they'll pick a player from every single franchise, and then that's what the Vegas Knights did a couple years ago, and that's what they'll do in 2021, I believe.
And is there any chance the Kraken just find themselves in the Stanley Cup Finals immediately?
That would be quite a surprise. It was quite a surprise when the Vegas Golden Knights did it. I can't imagine it happening twice. Like, you're asking for lightning to strike in the same spot twice. Seems a bit too much, but you know, you never know. Like, the advantage of hockey is like a lot of teams are going to have like log jams. So you're going to get you get some talent in these expansion drafts. Unlike like an NBA where you would have, most of the good players on a team are going to be reserved from this. There'll be some good players that they can pick off, and the Knights really took advantage of that, and they kind of struggled in a couple places. We'll see if Seattle can do that too. But there's definitely talent that's going to be available because it's such a deep league, and you need 18 guys. You need a full roster to be good. It's not a top heavy league like the NBA, so don't completely write off their chances.
All right. We had, God, guys, we were crushing this. We're going nice and smooth here. The MLB just launched an announcement, pretty bold move to come in the day of your opening night of games and announce you've expanded the playoffs from 10 teams to 16 teams. Yeah. So I think how it's being set up is like the top 2 teams in every conference or something is
division,
making it.
I believe.
Yeah, in every division. And
then there'll be a couple of wild card spots for the. So that'll be a really interesting thing. It certainly increases the Phillies' chances of making a postseason appearance this year. How do you guys feel about the change?
Very, very on brand for the MLB to just try to casually slip this in there. Like, oh, by the way, I know the baseball that counts is actually starting today, but we have this pretty significant rule change. Whatever. We don't really care how I feel about it, and like here it is. And honestly, I guess it's good. Like you could have some with the way that it's going to be within the scheduling and everything. Like it'll be good to have more teams, I think. And my thing is like let's just get that far. Let's just get to that point where it's even a factor. My mind is so, 1 day, 1 week at a time, it's like to project what implications this is going to have. It's crazy.
Yeah. Allow me to sit here and project what implications it'll have. The Phillies were not going to make the playoffs. They were the 3rd, possibly 4th best team in their own division playing against another division that had probably 1 to 2 to 3 teams better than them as well. Yeah. So they were in anything but a prime position to make the playoffs. This at least gives them a shot, and we'll keep. And I honestly, I looked at I was looking at 538 last night. So in reality, with 60 games, so they had like their rankings of their final predictions of who had the highest win total, predictions, everything like that. I think the Yankees were like number 1 with like 37 wins, maybe like so like 37 and 23 or whatever. Like that's not that crazy from being like 2 games over 500 or something. Like the variance in the teams, because after like the Yankees and Dodgers, the next like the 3rd and 4th place team were like 33 wins. So it's like you could be anywhere from 29 to 33 wins, like in that range will be probably 85% of the league. So it's like 2 games that are going to make the difference a lot of the time.
Yeah, and I think the other advantage of this expanded playoff is you avoid kind of a doomsday scenario where either one of the Yankees or Dodgers like gets off to a slow start, or they have a couple injured pitchers. Like you don't want a scenario where like your star-studded teams aren't making the playoffs. I think this kind of assures them that those 2 teams specifically, I think those are the teams that are going to drive the ratings in October or whenever the playoffs will be. That's really important. And then, I like that it gives the Phillies a little bit more of a shot. They got a puncher's chance now. And hey, we've seen the Phillies play really well over stretches over the last 2 years. It's not crazy to think like with a better manager, maybe a little more injury luck, maybe a Rhys Hoskins hot streak, maybe we can't get something going. I feel pretty good about it. It's nice just to have baseball, and I think anything positive they can do is just going to be gravy. That's how I'm approaching this baseball season.
You smell that, Ray? Is that positivity and optimism coming from Cream? It's such a foreign smell. I can barely even comprehend what it is. But wow.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, the 538 list, and they do not project the Phillies as a top 16 team. They have them like right around that like 29 and 31, so they have them 2 games under 500 in their model. But if you look at yeah, total haters. But if you look at a team like the top 3 teams are like 36 wins, 37 wins, around there. But then anything from like the 4th or 5th team on is like 34 wins or less. So
yeah,
I mean, you're looking at 4 games
that's right
the entire max of the difference.
That's there's going to be a lot of teams within striking distance. There's going to be a lot of games, like a lot of those seedings are going to go down to the final day. It should make for some interesting baseball, and that's at the end of the year, and that's all you want for the Phillies to be. As a Phillies fan, it's been so long since we've been in the hunt. It'll be nice to have that back again, and we should be able to do that as long as the guys, perform to their capability. They should be able to be within striking distance come the last few weeks of the season.
Okay, we got one final sports topic that I'm slipping in at the end, and then we're moving on to Jacob and his highlight reel. So, the Union, Cream. I don't know what happened with their game. You tell me. What's the deal with the Union?
So they started off 2-0. Had a really great start in the MLS's back tournament. They drew the 3rd game, unfortunately, and then that caused them to slip into 2nd place for their group, where they'll get matched up against the 1st place in one of the other groups, the New England Revolution. They'll play on Saturday night, 10:30 p.m., in a knockout round format. So it's win or go home. It's now or never. But the Union have played pretty well. The offense isn't clicking 100%, but goalie Andre Blake has been arguably the best player in the tournament. They have a really elite offensive players that can kind of create things out of nowhere, and that's what you're counting on. I said before the tournament that the Union were one of the dark horses. I still believe that they still have a chance to go far in this tournament. I'm excited about them.
Jacob, any takes about the Union?
It seems it'd be like a very Philly thing for the only team to win anything to be the Union. It'd be like the Flyers get bounced, Sixers got bounced, Phillies got bounced, fucking Union won. Great.
Yeah, with all the expectations of the Phillies teams, it would be quite poetic if the Union were the only one to bring home a championship.
To win something as heinous as the MLS's back tournament. That is a terrible name.
Oh my God, that's horrendous.
Don't tell them that. They're very sensitive. The MLS is very sensitive about this kind of stuff. You can't make fun of them too much.
All right. Jacob, so whittle it down. Give us the primo of the Jacob's Question Corner on.
All right.
You're
making it sound like the people don't love this segment, and we all know it's what gets the most ratings. We all know that's why the people stick around to the end of the episode. So let's not be false here. Now, number 1, we got 3 questions. 3 questions. It's what it is. Segment is Jake's 3 questions. So the first question, first question. I want you to think about it a little bit. Over or under 1.5 20-point Al Horford games in the bubble. This is regular season. Playoffs. I can already hear Cream's pessimism, but what I would have you say and think about, gentlemen, is he's coming off the bench. He's getting plays drawn for him. He's comfortable. He's the true center. There's space. Just think about it. 1.5. Will he drop 2 20-point games in the bubble Let me hear it. Who wants to go first?
All right,
No.
you go first. No, he's not gonna. He's not gonna get any 20-point games.
Ray,
He's not gonna play. He's not gonna play.
You think he'll have a 20-point game? Will he have a 20-point game?
No.
Oh, my God.
He's gonna play like 18 minutes a game, Jake. I don't know, like, why you think this is like some breakout Al Horford system. Like,
you know,
Brett Brown said that they're not even practicing together too much.
The second unit, the otherwise known as the Al Horford unit, is gonna come out here and just be leading the league in these 8 games for efficiency on the bench. But okay, all right, fine.
0% chance.
I came out a little hot. Let's take a step back. I think you're gonna like this one, fellas.
I love it. I love it already.
Number 2, if you were a rapper and you had to choose between either the word Lil, L-I-L, or Young to be your rap name, what would it be? So, for example,
I love this.
Cream,
I absolutely love this question.
Cream, your options are, and I think these are very easy answers for all of us, if I'm being honest, so I'll be interested to see if we all think the same. Cream, your options would be Lil Cream or Young Cream. Ray, your options, Lil Ray or Young Ray. And obviously me, Lil Jake or Young Jake. I think it's pretty obvious for me. You got to go Lil Jake. You know, it's got a nice little cadence to it. You know, you got to roll those L's a little bit. Lil Jake, you know, the place of articulation. That's what we call it in the field of linguistics. It's a little finicky, but I like it. And I have strong opinions about both of your rap names. So what are we going to do here, fellas?
So I'm going Young. I'm out on the Lil. And I'm going I don't know if you've ever listened to like Young Bands. Like he's got it spelled like Y-U-N-G. Just
Y-U-N-G.
wow. I like that. I'm ripping that off Young Bands.
Okay.
Young Ray.
Young Ray.
I kind of like it. For me, I think I'm gonna go with Young Cream. I think I'm gonna go Young Cream.
That's the
I think that's the better option.
Lil Cream? You don't like Lil Cream?
Lil Cream is a little too out there, dude.
That's where we draw the line at the EJP. When you fucking say Lil Cream, that's weird.
It's a little too
Lil Cream?
like juvenile. I don't know. I don't like it. So I'm gonna go with Young Cream.
You got rappers named Baby Keem. You got rappers named some crazy things out on here, and you're not
Lil Baby, Baby Keem, Da Baby. Like, it's not weird to be juvenile at this point,
dude. Fair enough.
Some good answers. That's only what I'll be referring to you as now. From now on, Young Ray, and Young Cream, and
the duo of him and I, Young Craig.
Yo, I can get behind that. I can get behind that. Your final question tonight, gentlemen. You and I'm not a tattoo guy. I'm open to the possibility, but I don't think I ever will get one. But this question calls for it. You have to get a tattoo of an animal. You can decide the size, the location, the details. The only caveat, you cannot have it be an eagle for our Philadelphia Eagles. So that is off the board. I, again, will go first to give you guys some time to think. This will be on your body forever. I'm going to go with the majestic blue whale. Fascinating.
Wow. I did not see that coming. I did not. It's a little out of left field, no?
Yeah, I mean, these questions I wouldn't say are your typical interview questions, so everything's going to be a little bit distorted. But, if they did ask this on an interview, I'd be well prepared. Love the ocean. The massive size of a whale is just hard to even get around the idea of how big they are, and just good creatures. And they played a very important role in Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. So due to those factors, I'm in on the blue whale, and I'd probably go on the arm somewhere. I feel like leg tattoos are really weird. Probably going on the arm somewhere. Fellas, what do you got?
So, since we've already talked about krakens tonight, that would actually be one of my top animals, I would think. But I'll do a different. Yeah, I've always liked those tattoos of like an octopus or like a giant squid, like taking down the ship or something, like in a
ocean creatures, man,
like an ocean thing.
Creatures.
But I'll mix it up because we already talked about that. I've also always liked those like the Japanese style artwork where you have like a koi fish kind of thing where they have
I like
very
that.
vibrant colors, and you have like a koi fish school or something like that. I always like those types of pieces.
I like that answer. I think I'm with you guys. I think sea creature is the way to go. For some reason, I think they're just cooler tattoos. My first instinct was shark. I think probably not like maybe I'll do like a hammerhead shark. I think that could be cool. I think that's what I'm going to go with. Maybe on the arm or the back or something. I think for some reason, like sea creatures, I don't know what it is. They're just cooler tattoos.
Yeah, it's because they're so wacky looking. Because there's nothing on land that can be that crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
Dragonite
octopus, too.
just doesn't do it
for me. I like those. I like those answers.
Yeah.
Well,
Jacob, you just mentioned it. Are Pokemon on the table in terms of...
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. And, fellas, we'll have some wackier questions next week, so don't you worry about that. But tattoos and rapper names, keeping your mind fresh out here.
All right. Thank you all for listening to the EJP. You slogged it through it with us. What an episode. Have a good one. Bye.